Let's talk about a hidden drain on your productivity. It's something that has nothing to do with how hard you work and, well, everything to do with how you think. This is the decision fatigue system.
You know that feeling, right? It's the end of a long day, you're just staring into the fridge, and you can't even decide what to eat. You probably think, man, that project at work really wiped me out. But what if that's not the real reason? What if the actual culprit is something much, much smaller?
And this is the idea we're going to unpack today. The real thing draining your energy isn't that one big task. It's the 1,000 tiny paper cuts from all the little choices you make all day long. Every single one of these decisions drains a little bit of your mental energy, and by the time you need to make a really important one, you're already running on empty. So how do some people, the high performers, seem so focused all the time? Well, here's the secret. They're not more disciplined. They just make fewer decisions. By the end of this explainer, you'll get why decision fatigue happens, why it secretly kills your productivity, and the exact system you can use to get rid of it.
So first, let's pull back the curtain on this hidden energy thief. This is all about understanding what your most valuable resource really is, and how you might be spending it without even realizing it. I mean, it starts the second your alarm goes off. Snooze or get up. What am I gonna wear today? Should I have oatmeal or just coffee? Check email first or start that big report? Each one of these questions is like a tiny withdrawal from your mental bank account. Now, on their own, they feel like nothing, right? Just a drop of water. But add them all up, and you've got a flood. It's this constant, quiet hum of mental work going on in the background. And by the time you actually sit down to make a decision that matters, one that could actually move your career or your life forward, you're already starting with a huge disadvantage. And this thing, it actually has a name: decision fatigue. This isn't just a feeling. It's a real, measurable drop in your ability to think clearly. The best way to think about it is that your willpower is like a muscle, and the more you use it on any choice, big or small, the more tired it gets. Your brain literally gets exhausted from the act of choosing, and just like a tired muscle, its performance starts to go down. And you can see this play out in your own day. When your mental energy is high, say in the morning, you're way more likely to make the tough, important choices. You stick to your goals, you stay focused. But as decision fatigue starts to set in, you just naturally start choosing the path of least resistance. You put off that important task, you choose the easy option for dinner, and you find yourself just mindlessly scrolling on your phone instead of doing the thing you planned to do. It's not a character flaw, it's just biology.
And this idea, it just completely changes how you should think about discipline. It's not that you lack willpower or that you're lazy, you are simply running out of decision energy. You've got a limited tank of this high-quality mental fuel every day, and all those tiny decisions are burning right through it before you even get to the stuff that really matters. So, if this affects all of us, how do some people seem to just sidestep it completely?
Which brings us to the big question, right? If decision fatigue gets to everyone, why do some people seem so consistently on top of their game? So in this next part, let's look at how high performers think, because their approach is fundamentally different. We all know those people, the ones who just seem to operate on a different frequency. They're consistent, they're focused, day in and day out. You have to wonder, were they just born with more discipline than the rest of us? Well, the answer might surprise you. It's not that they have more willpower, it's that their lives are set up to require less of it.
See, their secret isn't about trying harder, it's about thinking smarter. They're basically architects of their own time and energy. They intentionally build systems to protect their focus. So instead of waking up and hoping they feel like working hard, they rely on routines that run on autopilot. They're essentially outsourcing their discipline to a plan they made ahead of time, which saves all their best energy for their most important work.
And that is the critical difference. For most people, the morning is just this constant negotiation. Should I do this or that? But for a high performer, it's like they're following a pre-written script. They already know what they're wearing, what they're eating, and what the first task of the day is. There are 0 decisions to make. So by the time the average person has burned through all their best morning energy, the high performer has saved all of theirs for the work that actually moves the needle.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we go from just reacting to our day to becoming the architect of it? Well, there's a really simple but powerful framework for this. It's designed to systematically plug all those little energy leaks. Let's get into the DAS framework.
We call it the Decision Automation System, or DAS for short. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like you're installing a new operating system on your brain, one that's specifically designed to protect your 2 most valuable assets, your attention and your energy.
The whole system is built on just 3 simple steps. First, you eliminate. You just get rid of choices that don't add any real value to your life. It's all about simplification.
Second, you pre-decide. You create rules for recurring situations. You make the decision once so you don't have to keep making it over and over again. And third, you create defaults. These are your automatic go-to behaviors for the things you do most often. So what does this actually look like in the real world? It's pretty simple. For your morning, it means a fixed routine. You wake up at the same time, you eat the same 1 or 2 breakfasts, you have your workout clothes ready to go the night before. No decisions needed. For your work, it means at the end of each day, you make a clear task list for the next one. You schedule blocks of time on your calendar for specific tasks. You don't wake up and ask, what should I do? Your calendar tells you what to do. And for your lifestyle, it could be as simple as having the same healthy lunch every weekday or doing one 30-minute planning session on Sunday to make all the big decisions for the week ahead.
Okay, so now we get to the really cool part, the payoff. Because when you start doing this, it's not just about saving a little bit of time, it's about completely changing where your best mental energy goes.
This creates what I call the energy reallocation effect. See, by putting all those small, low-value decisions on autopilot, you unlock this huge reserve of brain power. And that energy doesn't just disappear, it gets redirected. It gets reallocated to the stuff that matters: deep thinking, creativity, and solving important problems. You stop wasting your best brain on the small stuff.
I mean, just think about how huge this shift is. Before, you have a system, you might be spending, say, 80% of your best mental energy on trivial little decisions, leaving just a tiny 20% for the deep work that actually counts. But after you implement a system like this, you can literally flip that ratio. Now, the vast majority of your energy is funneled directly into what moves the needle, what grows your career, what actually improves your life.
And that brings us right back to the central idea here. You should stop trying to force yourself to have more discipline. It's an exhausting, uphill battle you can't win. Instead, focus on designing a life that requires less of it. Build systems that make the right choices the easy choices. That's how you win in the long run.
And this is a really fundamental shift in your identity. It's about moving from seeing yourself as someone who's always looking for motivation to seeing yourself as a builder of effective systems. Because look, motivation is flaky. It comes and goes, but a good system shows up every single day. And that is the foundation for real consistency and long-term growth.
So here's your challenge for this week. And don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. That's just going to create more decisions and more fatigue. Instead, just start by removing 3 daily decisions. First, make your morning routine exactly the same every single day this week. Second, pre-plan what you're going to eat for lunch or dinner for just the next 3 days. And third, define the exact time your work starts and treat it like a meeting you can't miss. Start small, feel the benefit, and then build from there.
And we'll end on this one last thought. The clarity and focus you're looking for, they aren't found by trying harder in the moment. They are the result of the systems you build in advance. If you want more practical systems for improving your thinking and discipline, you know what to do. Thanks for tuning in.